This ordinary girl is a gift from heaven. A man loses on a deserted island, but he is able to express the worry-free days on the island. Whenever night falls, the woman must go home in the tree hole. She warns men not to come in. Who can stand this? Finally, he boldly walks in. He discovers the amazing secret here. Toby has come to this deserted island 3 days ago. He doesn't get shipwrecked, but he is sent to quit internet addiction. The counselor agrees to pick up him in 3 days. She takes him some daily supplies, then leaves. At this time, a pair of eyes are coming from the forest. It's watching their every move. A temporary tent is made. Press on a few branches. Finally, everything is done. Next is to make a fire. He dares not go deep into the dense forest. Just pick up some firewood on the side. He accidentally finds a few coconuts. When he's about to pick it up, he is terrified by the corpse of a monkey. No coconut is needed. He's hurriedly back. It turns out that the tent is robbed by monkeys. Food reserves that are not already well off are even worse. In a hurry, he can't catch fire. His hand is still scratched. He is so angry that he throws away the flint, but he regrets it again. He takes off his shoes and goes to the sea to find. His foot is cut by a sharp shell. But this reminds Toby, isn't it just the ready-made food? He takes out a Swiss Army knife. Pry open one and sniff. It's completely fresh. Pulling the mirror in the direction of the sun. Now the problem of making fire has been solved. He doesn't know if it's because it's not cooked. Toby vomits up after eating the shells. Dry mouth and tongue because of dehydration. He remembers the coconut during the day. Go back to the forest with the courage. But there seems to be movement behind. He raises the flashlight to shine. Something with horns on the head flashes by. Toby is so scared. The holes in the whole body are nourishing water out. He picks up the only weapon, flare gun. Symbolically resisted. Then he faints. At this time the seawater starts to rise. Toby's face and all supplies are all in the water. The man living on the deserted island wakes up hungry and thirsty. See the coconut around. Desperate, Toby drinks it up. He doesn't notice at all. The coconuts are opened with a knife. Fortunately, he finds the answer soon. A young girl is lying in the shallows looking for food. Seeing a man wake up after hearing the scriptures, she goes ashore and heads towards the forest. Toby quickly keeps up. The girl suddenly makes a fighting stance towards him. Fortunately, her goal is the wild boar behind the man. Seeing a wild boar being killed with an opponent's hand blade, Toby gives up the thought of wanting to return her by himself. He's self-introduced that he is sent to this island to remove his internet addiction, but the girl seems to have lived in an isolated place since childhood. She doesn't know anything about the outside world. She is skilled in cooking. Share it with Toby. The girl is ready to go home after dinner. Toby asks the other party's name. Almost bitten by a poisonous snake. Fortunately, the girl takes up the knife in her hand and saves his life. Madeline tells Toby that this island is dangerous. Advise him not to stay away from the campfire. At night, Toby wakes up from his sleep, finds that it is dark all around, hurriedly rekindles the campfire. He hears movement in the forest, thinks it is Madeline. He runs in and sees no one at all, being a little bit lost. A thing with a sheep's head slowly approached from behind. Toby turns around. This thing disappears again. Early next morning, Toby wakes up from the smell of rice. Turns out, Madeline has prepared a hearty breakfast. She sees the wound on Toby's foot. Let him come with her. Drop on a kind of magical wild fruit on his foot. Toby feels less pain right away. Madeline wipes some on his lips. Makes him feel strange. He doesn't know if it's because of wild fruits or because of this purely natural organic method. The two are like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Madeline teaches him how to set traps to make a cord grab. He tells the girl how to eat chicken and guard the tower. Good times are always so short. The girl must go home. She warns Toby not to come in, otherwise her mom will kill him. Toby stubbornly says that he will leave the island tomorrow. She is furious and turns away. In the early morning, the counselor comes to the agreed place, but she doesn't see Toby's figure. She brings the flashlight and looks for the forest. Suddenly a bright light comes across. The counselor thinks it is Toby who is playing a prank. Swearing and walking over, a pair of blue eyes appears in the dark. Then it's coming to the scream of the counselor. On the other side, Toby has never waited for the boat to pick him up. He follows the floating life buoy, then finds a capsized sailing ship. He's about to go to sea. A middle-aged woman swims out from behind the boat. She drags a bag of supplies ashore. Is she his mother-in-law? Toby takes a deep breath and dives into the water. The dead counselor is found in the cabin. He is so scared that he quickly surfaces. He concludes that this matter cannot be separated from Madeline's mother, so he musters his courage to go through the tree hole. In a shed, he finds an old photo. The little girl in the photo seems to be Madeline. The rescue team is contacted through the counselor's radio. Doesn't wait for him to say a few words. The mother and daughter are back. He quickly hides under the bed. Surprisingly finds the sheep-head monster mask. It turns out that Madeline's mother is the root of all evil on the island. Toby takes advantage of her not in the house. He pulls Madeline. The two agree to see in the same place after sunset. Then under the cover of Madeline, Toby escapes. He sets up animal traps near the base just in case. Madeline arrives at night. Toby explains the death of the counselor to her. Tell her it's dangerous to stay with her mother. He persuades Madeline to elope with himself. He will find someone to help her mom later. Madeline agrees. Go home to pack things. Toby waits and waits for no one to come. So he ventured to find her at her house. As a result, the mother, who is hiding in the dark, subdues him with one trick. Toby finds a chance and runs away. Madeline's mother is chasing after him. Seeing the enemy is drawn into the trap, Toby jumps over the rope. Madeline's mother triggers the mechanism. She is so hurt. She tells the shocking truth before she dies. It turns out that their family came to teach on the island many years ago. Once her husband stops the locals from offering sacrifices to evil spirits. When no one pays attention, the curious Madeline stepped forward. As a result of being possessed by evil spirits, the blackened little girl begins to kill all people on the island, except for her mother. And she has been pretending to be a monster for many years, just to scare away outsiders from her daughter's murderous hand. Madeline's mother tells Toby the only weakness of evil spirits is their fear of light, and gives him a bag of wild fruits. This wild juice can make monsters sleep. Finally, he must not let the monster go out of the island. Confession is over. Toby can't believe his ears. He's still in a circle. Madeline has found him. Boys must protect themselves when they go out. This blonde beauty saw Toby's eyes shined. She hugs him directly, then kisses him. Just knocks him down on the ground. Toby looks at the mother in a pool of blood. He remembers that she said that monsters are afraid of wild fruits and light. He stretches out his hand to reach the bag of poisonous fruit. Madeline perceives malice, revealing her fangs when she turns into half. As a result, the man squeezes juice into Madeline's mouth. The monster is paralyzed and falls asleep. Toby takes the opportunity to tie her up tightly. Hurry up and climb the tower. Fill the generator with fuel. Finally, the lighthouse is working again. But just back downstairs, Toby finds that Madeline is gone. The monster has leaped behind, pulled him down in one fell swoop, then pats him with a palm. Fortunately, Toby turns over and escapes. He touches a piece of broken glass in the sink. Stab at the monster, but the difference in combat power is too big. He is crushed by the monster under his body and chokes his neck. Seeing it will be over, Toby sees the rotating beam of light. Try his best to reach the glass erected at an angle. The moment the blood glass falls, the light is reflected on the monster's face. The monster hides away. Toby picks up the torch and lits the fuel. At this time, the monster changes back to Madeline's appearance. Toby closes the door cruelly and runs towards the beach. At this time, the rescue boat is coming, followed by the lighthouse. Toby jumps directly into the sea and swims desperately. Finally, he is rescued. Relief of breath. At this moment, the monster suddenly floats up. At the end of the story, the rescue team asks if there are any other survivors. The drowned person shakes the head. The face exposes under the blanket. It's Madeline. This reminds of Murphy's Law. Even if one thing we don't want it to happen, but as long as the probability is not zero, and enough samples, one day it will happen. Thank you for watching.